All right, man, that was fun. That was crazy. We took that sample and we made us a beat, and I thought the beat was pretty cool. So check this out. You can make a dope beat every day of the week, right? But if you do not mix it right, it will not sound the way that you envisioned, and your people that are listening will not feel it the way that you intended for it to be felt. So let's just go ahead on and mix this beat real quick on a basic level. Let's go. All right, so we've created the track, and now it's time for us to mix the track. Now, depending on what type of track, there are some different type of ways and different techniques you can use. We're not going to get into that. What we're going to do is we're going to get into the sonics. We want the track to sound really good. So when someone hears it, they're going to feel every element of the track. If we need to do some separation, we're going to explode the drums. We're going to do all of that, and we're going to do it now. Okay. So on this first track, we called it bass. So what we're going to do is we're just going to rename that, and we're going to call it drums because we know that's what the drums are. Right. So let's just go ahead and go right back. So now we know that's the drums. We use the boom bap kit from our expansions. Okay. So now what we want to do, let's just go ahead and hit this I over here. And this is going to take us into our mixer channel. And let's just listen to this. But before we do that, let's just go ahead on and explode this track, okay? And what's going to happen is all of the elements, because if I go ahead and solo this and play it, we have about four elements here. We have the kick, we have the snare, we have the hat, we have another open hat, and then we have the voice at the top, okay? We don't want all that on the track because whenever we export this, and let's just say we decide to export this into a DAW, we want to be able to have control over all of those four tracks. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit our little edit icon here again that we just hit to change it, and then we're going to hit explode here, okay? That has been exploded. So what just happened is now if I release this, that first track is now muted, and now we have tracks that have been separated in the different sections here. And what it did was the machine went out and it found tracks that wasn't being used and then exploded those tracks. Okay. So now if we go into our mute section here, you'll see we have all these different tracks that we can now mute. Let's just go ahead and play it and hear it. And there go our drums here. So now, as you can tell here, and we could have did this and we could have organized this a lot better, but don't worry about that. The tracks that we have our drums on is going to be on track 3. It's going to be track 9, 10, 11, and 12, okay? So if we go into our main, we can see it right here. And we can actually go in and name these if we wanted to. I could solo 12. That's voice, so I'm just going to name that voice just for sake of knowing where everything is. Okay. Now that's voice. Let's go to 11. Okay. We're going to go ahead and change the name of that to open hat. Okay. We're going to do it. And then we're going to just keep going through. That's going to be our hi-hat. So we're just going to name that hi-hat. And this is a lot to do with mixing and organizing. Okay. This has as much to do with mixing as anything. That's going to be our snare. Okay. That's our snare. All right, let's go to the next. This is our lead. So we're just going to name that lead. All right, that's done. This is our sample. So we're just going to name that sample. Right. I don't think we have anything on 6. So since we don't have anything on 6, let's go ahead and clear 6. Okay, so 6 has been cleared. Go back to solo. I don't think we have anything on 5 either, so we're going to go ahead and clear 5. We're going to solo it again. All right. We can just call this texture. Still think that needs some work, but we'll just call it texture. Let's move on. This is going to be our drums. We definitely need to do some work on those. So that's going to be our kick. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's get back. I don't think we have anything here either. And then 1 is the one that's muted that we no longer need. So we're going to clear that one out as well because we're not using that one. We're not using this one either. We're going to clear that out. We're just doing some maintenance right now. All right. So now that we have all our tracks here, we can go back to mix here. Or I'm sorry, mute. And then we can unmute all of these. And now we know what tracks we have. We know our drums are here. So in the future, we'll get into some more advanced stuff on how to move some stuff around, copy tracks, move it over, and do all that stuff. It's not that hard, but let's just stay focused. Let's stay focused on mixing. Okay. So now that we did that, let's go back to that track number 1. I'm sorry, track number 3, which is our kick, and then we're going to solo that, and we're going to give that some girth. We're going to make that hit a little harder. What I am going to do, though, I want to hear that, but I also want to be able to hear the kick as a whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to mute, and I'm just going to mute things. The only thing I want is the kick right now, okay? I'm going to even mute the voice, and I want to say the voice is here. Yes. All right. So now let's just go ahead and go back to main, and then we're going to look at that kick, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to try to give that kick a little bit more oomph. Okay. And again, I'm still going to operate from a pad level, which is this is the pad, because you don't want to manipulate the entire track. You just want to manipulate the one pad that you're working with. Okay. Remember that. All right, let's turn that up a little bit. All right, we're going to go into the effects. It already has an air enhancer on it. What we're going to do is we're just going to select the next one. We're going to go ahead and click in. We're going to go into our, let's see. We can go into our EQ, and then we're going to go into our parametric EQ. And then we're going to hit this little edit here. And we're going to try to take those lows and we're going to try to bring them up. Let's listen. And all I'm doing is I'm just adjusting the EQ. I'm just taking the EQ and I'm bringing up the end of it, which lives inside of that 260 hertz range, and I'm just trying to give it a little bit more boom, if you want to call it that. And that's all I'm doing here. Now, I could have easily went and grabbed something that hits a little bit harder, but I just want to keep this track sounding more like a drummer is playing it, okay? Okay, I like that. Let's go back to our main, and we're going to look at the overall. Now, what's really cool is we don't have to go to each individual track to do this because I know that we use the same boom bap expansion, so we can actually adjust everything right here because we're doing it from a pad level. Right now, I'm just raising up the snare a little bit. So let's go ahead on and listen to that again. I'm gonna keep the hi-hats where they are. Remember, try not to make your hi-hats too pronounced. Now, what's really cool is right now, I know it sounds a little thin, but the bass that's in the sample is going to definitely thicken that up and make it sound a lot better. And just so you know that that is accurate, let's go ahead on and bring in the sample by going to mute. And we're going to bring in the sample now. Let's see. Let's go back to main. Let's change to that sample, which is number 7. We're going to solo it. Going to go into effects. I want to add some delay because I don't like the way it's just kind of stopping. See right there? I'm just going to add a little bit, not a lot. Let's take it down. Let's take the mix down low. We're going to change the timing. And again, we'll talk about some of these things in future advanced tutorials. It's giving it kind of like a ghostly feeling. You hear that? I like that. Let's listen to the other elements. Let's see what else we have here. We're going to go back to mute. I want to hear that voice there, though. Hold up. Let's take that out. Let me hear it. That's going to be track 12. Let's go back to main. We're going to go to 12. Voice. Do I want to raise that up? I think I want to raise it up a little bit. Go back to mute. Bring everything in. Sounds pretty good. Let's take the lead out. Let's take the textures out. Bring everything back in. I love it. I love it. So that is the basic level of mixing. Really, I didn't go into a lot of the effects and bringing effects in and doing all of that. What I wanted to show you was a way that you can go in, you can change some things, use some different effects to manipulate and add flavor, add more girth, and really just make your beat sound really good over a full spectrum of the music spectrum. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next section, which is going to be song mode, because we can't just have a 4-track loop, right? We got to have a song. So let's move on. Let's go.